Greetings, this is Flashworks and welcome back to Shadowrun Dragonfall Director's Cut. I am getting a little bit better at saying that, even though it is a little bit of a tongue twister. Let's go talk to Glory. We left off, we were basically about to talk to her. Glory's a bit of a chatterbox, so let's see how far we can go with this one. For the first time since you met her, Glory's expression seems to brighten. It's subtle, but it's there, you're sure of it. Slosh, a pleasure, as always. Need anything from me? If I didn't know any better, I'd think you were warming up to me. She studies your face for a moment before responding. I suppose that you might say that. I don't talk to many people, Slosh. It just doesn't seem to be worth the effort. I don't really feel much anymore, not since. She caresses the chrome of her forearm with a hand made of articulated steel. Well, if that's true, why are you still talking to me? I suppose because you've shown an interest and because you haven't let me push you away. She locks eyes with you. Her expression is blank. I don't want to mislead you, Slosh. I still don't feel anything. Not warmth, or friendship, or even trust. But I can appreciate the effort that you're making. It's something new and it's worthy of exploring. How are you doing, Glory? Golden as always, Slosh. No problems here. Are you ready to tell me about that chrome you're sporting? I'm getting there, Slosh. You'll have to give me some time. The answers will come when they do. Still no luck on that one? Okay. So you said things turned bad when you turned 14. I'd like to keep talking about that. That sounds a little ominous. She stares at you, her face expressionless. No, I'd rather not. Jesus. Why not? Because I don't see a reason to. The memories are unpleasant, and dredging them up doesn't serve any real purpose. You're wrong about that. The last time we talked about it had an impact on you. That's reason enough to continue. Oh man, that actually works as a line? Jeez, I didn't think that would work. She pauses a moment to consider your words, a troubled look on her face. I suppose that's true. Feeling discomfort is better than feeling nothing at all. Alright, here's the deal, Slosh. I'm going to talk. You listen. When I'm done, I'm done. No complaints, no arguments, and we'll see what happens. Deal. Oh man, imagine if you said that then, like how much that would crush her. Deal. Right, the 1,000-meter stare creeps back into Glory's eyes. A moment later, she's locked away in her own head again, reliving memories that she'd long since filed away. So a few days after my 14th birthday, I began to express, magically. Wow, the things you can say. Judging from what I saw in your aura, the awakening must have been an incredible thing. It was actually fairly standard. Real power didn't come until later, but we'll get to that. There is another long pause, and Glory becomes more animated. Anyway, I turned 14. I awakened. I don't even remember how my parents found out about it anymore. I think my dad caught me playing with a tiny city spirit that I coaxed out of a pile of garbage, something like that. With everything that happened afterwards, those days are kind of a blur. Okay, what I do remember is my father's response to the revelation that his little girl was a witch, a hex. He beat the living shit out of me with his fists, and then his belt, and then a claw hammer that he grabbed out of his toolbox. All the while my mother was screaming and flailing at him. She took a couple of licks with the hammer too. I don't know what my character would say. It's a miracle that you survived. Just lucky, I guess, says Glory. So finally, after what felt like an hour, Dad stopped tuning me up with the hammer. I had broken ribs, busted arm, couldn't see out of my left eye, my entire right side was covered with one giant bruise. I was bleeding all over the place, making a real mess. This is messed up! The old bastard spat on me, his bleeding, crying daughter. He spat on me and told me he was des to fuels here, the devil's whore. Then he kicked me out of the house. I was crawling away. My dad told me that if he or any of his cruiser brothers ever saw me again, they'd treat me as the Berlin chapter treats the enemies of God. If you're not familiar with how the cruiseritters here in Berlin deal with heretics, it's decidedly less pretty than what my dad and his buddies did to their victims. I got the hint, and the next morning I hitched a ride out of Stuttgart. Gutsy move, you were a smart kid. Not that smart. Slowly, sadly, Glory shakes her head. We'll get to that in a minute. I wound up in Tübingen. I'm going to call it tube engine. Even though it's probably very wrong. I know my pronunciation's awful. I figured it'd be a safe enough place to find medical attention and maybe to call home. It's not far from Stuttgart, but it has a huge student community that I figured I could blend into. And the university there has a decent magic department. My ride dropped me off at the university hospital and they patched me up pretty good. Had some questions for me about how I got so beaten up, but I lied and told them that I'd been mugged, which played nicely into my complete lack of cash, credit, and identification. Glory pauses for a moment and looks down at the floor and then fixes her eyes on you. She is visibly tense. We're going to fast forward through the next few years. I was a kid on the street. I got by the best as I could, doing whatever I had to do. The rest we can leave. Oh my god, seriously. Everything in this is so fucked up. Is this what the future has to hold for us? You did what you had to do. I'm no stranger to that myself. I don't think anyone working in the shadows is. She nods. I figured you'd understand. So anyway, I lived on the street for a few years. Got used to being hungry all the time. Got used to getting brained on. Just got by. I was painfully aware that I had magical talents, but without any kind of training or guidance, I didn't really know how to use or develop them. Truth be told, they scared me, so I more or less ignored them. Sorry, a lot of talking means I need to lubricate my throat. Beer, what would I do without you? So it just sort of went like that, till a few days after my 17th birthday. Then I met Marta. Everything changed. Marta was a sweet girl. First I took her for a street kid like me. Her clothes were a little ratty. She seemed comfortable being near me. She also looked well fed and happy. Those were two things that I hadn't been in years. We started hanging out. Before I knew what was happening, I was in love. There was a genuine attraction between Marta and me, I think. But I also think that a lot of my affection for her came from the fact that she was the first person in years to give a damn about me. She cared, and I loved her for that. Glory pauses. She looked flustered. Her composure cracked. It's okay, keep going. She stares at you for a beat, then nods. A few ragged breaths later, she continues. Marta told me about a place where she'd been hanging out. She invited me to join her there. It was called Flux State, the fireplace. It was sort of a commune for dispossessed youth. It turns out that a lot of the street kids I'd known over the years had moved there. The way that they disappeared, I'd assumed they'd been kidnapped or killed or had gone back to their parents, but there they were. I remember being kind of angry about it, like, how did everyone get the memo about this but me? Marta calmed me down. She was good at helping me work through my feelings. I wound up following her to Feuerstel. To a street kid, it was basically paradise. The owner, a guy named Harrow, had set up this little farm just outside Tube Engine in the I can't do this. Schönbuch Forest. Schönbuch is officially a nature park, but not many people go there nowadays. Too much fear of paranormal animals, I guess. Anyway, park or not, it's plenty big enough for us to hide in. It was also safe and pretty, and the farm was well stocked with food. Most importantly, Fewer still gave us a sense of community and stability that we'd never had on the street. We loved Harry for that. He became like a surrogate father to us. Glory pauses again, and you recognize the distinct flush in her cheeks. She seems to have come out of her reverie once again. That's enough for now. I need to process all this, and I don't want to continue forward until I've had the chance to do that. I know this all happened years ago, so I guess it's still pretty raw to me. So I'm going to ask you to give me some space for a while. She turns away, and the frost begins to creep back into her voice. We can pick it up back. Oh my god, this poor chick, man. It's so messed up. Let's have a look at our stash. Getting all these guns here. None of which we can actually use because we need to get some ranged combat. I am thinking we might have to get some actual combat stuff. We do have a Force 1. And we do have an advanced medikit. And we do have... That's 3 action points and 2 movement. That cram stuff's pretty cool. I'm not going to take any more stuff right now. I'm just going to do that. We're going to run down here. And we're gonna suck it up. And here comes what I think is going to be the big talk, guys. So this might lead us to something exciting. Slosh, welcome back. I have news for you. Oh, that's good. In your absence, I've been looking into the Halfeld Manor with I'm going to say Firewing because I No, it's Firewing. Whatever Firewing is up to, it is both large-scale and well-funded. I've uncovered a money trail leading from holding companies all over the world to an offshore fund with a dummy address. From there, all that freshly laundered money flows directly into the Harfield estate. How much money are we talking about here? I can't name an exact figure, but we're talking about a lot of money. In the millions of million, most certainly. Whatever the Firewing is planning, she has access to the resources she'll need to carry it out. But Firewing was different. She didn't scheme or plot, she acted. Yes, and look where it got her. When the Firewing launched her attack on humanity, it was an act of hubris. She lashed out because she didn't consider our species to be a threat. It would be equally hubristic. Is that a word? I've never heard that before. Hubristic for us to assume that she would make the same mistake twice. I will continue digging into this while you and the team tackle your next run. With luck, I'll have more information to share upon your return. Sounds good, Paul. One last thing, Slosh. Mallet was able to restore the readable service of one of Greenwinter's DVDs. If you'd like to take a look, you'll find it sitting beside the player. Just one of them? She's still working on the others. Many of them are extensively damaged. Getting anything off them is proving to be quite a chore. She's told me that she'll be in touch if and when she makes any headway. Thanks, Paul. So we can go and watch this extra DVD called Watch Me. Wait a minute, that's exact. Load the second DVD. That's a different one. I think this is a different one. Timestamp reads 2054-1111. Alright, as I said in my last recording, I've been having trouble finding hard facts on Firewing, so I thought I'd open things up a bit. Let's see what the room mill has to say. The scream jumps and disappears in a different location. He's now catching a mug of soy calf in both hands, and there are bags under his eyes. Well, that was enlightening, assuming that any of it was true, that is. So for the past 5 hours, I've been poking around some of the crazier fringe theories relating to dragons and the socks. I think... It isn't as well known that all of the modern day myths have arisen about her since, and tonight I've heard an earful. I chatted up a girl who claimed to be a ghost rat. A smuggler who operates that's a smuggler that operates in the SOX. She told me about a dragon cult called the Disciples of the Cleaning Fire. Apparently these cultists worship some sort of radioactive ghost dragon. Could be a Firewing or it could be nothing. It's worth digging into all the same. Another thing that my little ghost rat told me, the popular rumour in the SOX is that Firewing's astral form was, I'd guess you say, mutated by all that background radiation. Some of the glowpunks out there say she's shadow body like an old coat. Others say that she's trapped doomed to language as an intangible radioactive ghost. I don't know how much credence to give any of this. After all, I don't have any proof that my ghost rat is even a ghost rat. She might be... but then she could just be a run-of-the-mill glowpunk. Maybe she's just yanking my chain and she's never been into the SOX at all, who knows? Well, it's food for thought anyway. I don't know whether the thought of some radioactive ghost dragon is any scarier than a genuine dragon, but it's interesting all the same. The big question is, will any of this get me any closer to finding Adrian? I'm going to go out on a limb and say no, but you never can tell. Now, I know for a fact this is actually the second CD because I don't actually remember any of that. So let's play track 2. Okay, timestamp reads 2054-11212. Alright, let's continue thinking outside the box. After the Dragonfall, the Great Dragon Kaltenstein came flying into the SOX to rescue the Firewing. He was driven off, some say killed, by Lofweir and Nebelhair. So what if there's another dragon involved in all of this? Winters grabs a thick leather-bound tome from a shelf behind him, licks a finger and begins to leaf through it. Alright, so let's run down the list of major dragons that could be helping her. First there's the Golden Worm, Lofweir, CEO of Cedar Group, and quite possibly the single most dangerous being on Earth. Lofweir is a local boy, so he'd be in a position to help Firewing. He certainly has the financial capability to help her. He could send a small army into the SOX if he wanted to, so he's definitely got the means. But I can't see how he'd have the motive. He actively prevented the Firewing's rescue back in 2012. After all, the same thing is true for Nebelhair, so let's scratch the both of them off the list. He flips a page frowning. We've got Aiden, the Great Surash, he's operating out of Turkey. By all accounts, he's not a fan of Lofweir. They're actively competing for territory in the Middle East. So I suppose that could be considered a motive. Reviving the Firewing could cause problems for the Golden Worm, But would he risk a war with Seder Krupp by straying onto Lofweir's territory again? I don't think it's likely. I am so lost right now. I can't even put into words how lost I am. He turns another page. There's Celadir out in Wales. He's pretty heavily invested in Transys Neuronet. So he's got the money. He's busy dealing with the BTL killer scandal that the Transys is going through out in London to get his claws dirty in the SOX. Flip. Dunkelzahn out in the UCAS. He pauses and shakes his head, then he slams the tome shut. Now, this is a waste of time. The more I think about it, the more convinced I am the Firewing is acting alone. Dragons don't cooperate unless they absolutely have to. After all, why bother making nice with your equals when you've got an entire planet full of pawns at your disposal? They don't need to work together, they have us to exploit. I don't know about you guys, I am so lost. Okay. Track 3 doesn't work, track 4. File is partially garbled. See Vauclair, still my big brother. Searching, swear to, I will find you. It's the last, turning up, okay. File's corrupt. Oh, got ASCII characters. 6. The screen goes black and the same digital chime that you hear on the Dragonfall DVD plays again. Crackle of static fills the air, followed by that same now familiar electronic whine. A few hours later, the display goes live. Vauclair looks haggard. His eyes are heavily bagged and bloodshot, and his hair is musty. He holds a cigarette in an unsteady hand. Dude! Isn't this the dude we're looking for? Hermie, it's me. I can't sleep. I don't know where you are. Out having fun, no doubt. Maybe flirting with one of those unattainable beauties that you're always chasing. He tries on a smile, but it quickly disappears. He takes a drag on his cigarette. That's good. I want you to live a pleasant, normal life. After all, one of us should. Vauclair rubs his eyes. I can still smell the smoke, Hermie. It's almost a year later and I can still taste the stench of burning corpses. When I sleep, I can hear the sirens and the screams. There is no sound in this world as horrible as a burn victim screams. The doctors would call this PTSD, I'm sure. They have me in therapy. They maybe dose me up on SSRIs like they do to our veteran soldiers. He chuckles, takes another drag. Quite a story for the tabloids, eh? Great Dragon Slayer, Adrian Vauclair, mentally incapable of wrestling with his own demons. No therapy for me, and certainly no medication. I have a reputation to live up to. However poorly deserved it is, and however little I want it. He pauses, stubs out his cigarette. The dragon is still alive, Hermie. Of that I am certain. One day I will find her, and then perhaps I'll be able to sleep through the night. The display goes black and the background whine fades away. Okay, I am so lost. I mean, I'm pretty sure we've watched this one. Oh no, this is new. Did we do all that one before? I don't remember doing that one before. Hermie, I think we found her after all this time. Firewing, I knew that she wasn't dead. She survived the Dragonfall, just like I said. I was right. Taking a team into SO... Oh, no, this is the one we watched before. Yep. That's okay. Definitely done that one before. Okay, it is time for us to... I guess what I'm going to do is I'm going to be a little bit dodgy, and I'm going to wait till I've stopped moving, and I'm going to save it, because we've had a few mistakes along the way, and that's okay. We do have a lot of karma that we do need to spend, so we do need to think about that. Now, it would be kind of nice to, at least on myself, have a little bit more spirit control, because that's definitely something that we would like. So we have 14, so if we did that, it'd be 7. And then we could get to there, 3 and 4. Or we could get to there to increase our spellbook slot. So we could do that and that, or we could do that and that and that. I'm thinking that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put that one up. I'm going to put up the spirit control a couple of times, and I'm going to confirm that. And now that's going to give us 6 summoning, 4 spirit control, 4 conjuring, all that kind of stuff. Which means I think if we go here, we will have another slot there. So maybe we need to go out and buy some stuff. Maybe we do need to go out and buy some stuff. Let's have a look at the mission computer and see if there's anything available there first. Okay, let's new messages. Hijacked shipments. If you value new hardware coming into the cruise base, we need to talk. One of my weapons shipments was hijacked by a local gang. I could promise 500 million. If you recover the shipment, I'll have some new gear on the shelf. Come and see me for details. So that's probably all pending jobs. Farmer cleanup job. Amsel's face winks onto the screen. Here you'll find the complete transcript of my conversation with Herr Fuchs. We call him Herr Fuchs. A potential client. The job seems to be relatively straightforward and the payout is reasonable. One word of caution before you proceed. There are aspects of this run that you might find morally troubling, but be sure to read and understand the specifics of the job before you accept it. I don't know. Clean up a mess. My employers dispatched a team of operators to conduct a quiet operation. The team was eliminated, but we have reliable information that one of the operators has been taken captive. If this rogue agent were to spill information leading back to my employers, it would lead to a corporate war. A great many lives would be lost. My employers would be nothing more than to prevent such a tragic turn of events. I don't know how I feel about it. So we're actually going to decline for now. We're going to go back to the route. I'm going to go walk away. Now, if I am right, we have meet with Gunari. So we're going to go do that, but we're actually going to go buy some stuff on the way. Because we should be able to, and we're definitely going to take a dagger this time. Because this having two shamans, I mean, I'm going to miss Dietrich so much, but the fact that I'm a shaman makes it really difficult. It doesn't look like there's anything down there. So we need to go down here. Hey, Cammy. I don't remember you. Who are you? Can I talk to you? She tips an invisible hat. Hey there. Remember me from the cafe? Name's Cammy. Or Kami. You looking for something? Well, depends. Is there anything I should be looking for? She titters. Flaunting her information. That's bad for business. Unless Altug wants me to tell you something, but that's rare. I'm just his ears and hands. Outside the cafe, he's got enough of a voice all by himself. So what's the story between you and Altug? She grins and winks lasciviously at you. Oh, surely you've guessed. That lucky bastard. She chuffs loudly. Hewish. If you're really curious though, I'll tell you about it sometime. Now tell me about it now. Right now I have some errands to run. Come over sometime, we can chat over hookah or something, yeah? She lazily tips an invisible hat at you before turning her focus to a Commodore wrist. Okay, so she's a bit weird. There was that kid who lived here. He doesn't like talking to us no more. So we're going to go in here because we need to buy another spell. And then we'll go talk to the dude about... Where are you? There you are, Algernon. My buddy. Let's buy some stuff. Okay, we need to buy another spell. So... we don't have the money for any of this stuff. It's a little bit much. But we need to buy another spell. Now, we can't use any of those because our spell casting's too high. We can use a conjuring, so we've already got haste. What is haste 2 different? If I go down to haste, R's for 2 rounds. Okay. So I guess we could... Wow, that's expensive. That is pretty expensive. That is pretty nuts. Okay, we definitely need another spell though. We already have slow and haste, so I guess... So with the fog, I guess we put that on us? Oh, I don't know. Mana charge. No, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take haste 2, right? So we have 2 different hastes, and we can run them at the same time. So we can probably alternate them. Since I'm gonna be running my guy basically as a support character anyway. Maybe that's gonna be what we're gonna go for. So we only need to run up here to talk to this dude about our mission, and maybe we'll end up getting... Who's this dude? He looks scared. Let's talk to this guy. Looks terrified. Hey buddy, sorry to bother you, but I could use some help over here. And make a little extra scratch and take to them. Sure, what's the problem? Me and my buddy Victor got called in from the next gears over. Something wrong with the sewers around here. Your local plumbers and mechanics are all useless. Vic and I talked to them, tried to get them to give us the maintenance schedule for your sewer pumps. They just scratched their heads at us and said that the machinery down there just took care of itself. My best guess is that your pumps have shut down. Happens from time to time without proper maintenance. If the pumps shut down, the wastes start piling up and it's caused pretty major overflow problems downstream. What the hell do you want me to do about it? Victor went down into the sewers while I was getting stuff out of the truck. I came back out. Well, I was about to climb down, but I heard these awful screams. They went on, and then they just stopped. I froze up, nearly shit myself, to be honest. I don't know what to do, but I can't go down there, not after that. The problem is something basic. Probably something basic. A clog that needs to be cleared, something like that. Restarting the pump should take care of it, but no goddamn way I'm going in there. If you do the job for me, I'll give you the million we were paid. Well, how much? 500. Okay, well, I need the money. You're a lifesaver, chummer. If you find Victor well, if he's still alive down there, tell him I'm sorry. Okay, so let's go into the sewers. Who knew this was... Oh, we're going to take the whole team? Okay, so I'm going to take Blitz, I'm going to take Iger, and I'm going to take Glory. Confirm. Why is it that just entering the sewers is going to take a whole team? What the hell's going on in the sewers that's going to be this bad? A little bit concerned now. The sewers, a ghostly labyrinth of tunnels and dead-end passageways, make up the network of sewers beneath the cruise baser. You climb down the ladder into the shallow underworld and reel at the wave of foul smells that washes over you, clogging your sinuses and saturating your clothing. As your eyes adjust to the light, you find yourself standing at the edge of a narrow channel of murky grey-green water. The rush of churning water echoes down the tunnel. Catch a flash of motion in your peripheral vision, something man-sized moving fast, flitting across the far end of the tunnel. You strain your eyes to see it, but to no avail. The thing, whatever it is gone. You know what I like about this? Is that it isn't quite like the first one. You do have a lot more freedom to actually do what you want. It's not quite as much on a rail as the last one. Unfortunately, what we're going to have to do, guys, is we're going to have to leave this one basically right about here. So we are in the sewers. We are looking for the dude who's lost and screaming, and there's something down here, something that needs the whole team. I'm going to get a quick 500 million out of it, which is pretty good. And we just need to fix 2 water pumps. So as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. And yeah, we're in the sewers. Why are we in the sewers? I'll see you guys tomorrow.